1, 2, 3, 4. I declare a thong war.
Oh, come on, Kia!
Wow.
Sorry. Yeah. Very competitive notice. Thank you.
Wanna go
more organic, just conversation with you, because that's what this is.
Hanging out and just talking BMX instead of some scripted blah, blah, blah.
Wait, did you ask that question? I forgot. No, we don't need a list of questions.
No, we don't need no list of questions.
No questions.
This man needs no introduction. But I'm going to anyway because it's exciting to me to do it. This is Dave effing Nourie, Mr. Gumby himself. How are you doing, sir?
Doing great. It's good to be here.
This is your first Cornhucket. Are you a little excited?
Yeah, super pumped. We got to do a little riding last night. We've got an awesome flatland area that's a brand new slab of concrete. And did a little bit of mopping, cleaned off the dust, and it was just a nice session. Riding with all the young riders that were just intrigued by flatland, kind of dabbling in it, and just playing on BMX. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Dave, how did you end up in the middle of nowhere in Unadilla, Nebraska? I think that's where we are. Why are you here?
I don't know it is nowhere, but I know it's Nebraska because that's where I landed in Omaha. But yeah, so Robert Riley had just asked me earlier this week.
Reclamation Bikes, Robert Riley.
Yeah, Robert Riley at Reclamation Bikes and Fred just wanted to see if I wanted to come out. Said, hey, we'll fly you out and just come and support the scene and see what's going on here. And turned out to be a good weekend for me. So said, sure, let's do it. And got here last night or yesterday afternoon and just been soaking it all in. Got to meet Carl and kind of hear his story and feel like we're similar in many ways as far as just giving back to the sport. And he's just done an amazing job with bringing, like, as opposed to deciding to move to Colorado where there's all this a scene and all these parks and everything, he decided to build it here for the kids that are in Nebraska. And I think it's just epic. And like the stuff, I had to buy like 4 shirts and
right.
I bought one of his stems just because he's got great product and just an awesome attitude about it all. So good to support it for sure.
Well, this is your first time at the compound. There's a lot to take in. What are your impressions?
The guy's like, I'm so sorry. No, you're just part of it now.
You're good, brother.
I'm sorry, I asked that question again. What's my first what?
It's your first time here at the compound. There's a lot to take in. What are your impressions? What do you think of the place?
Well, obviously I can see the vision that he's been working on, that Carl's been working on for, I think it's been 8 years now that he's been here at this location. And it's just amazing. Like he's trying to meet every little niche. He's got a little pump track that's here for the young kids. Yeah. The striders, I guess, and then he's going to do an indoor space. I talked to some of the riders that were there last night, more probably 15, 16-year-old kids that were like, we're so excited because we have nowhere to ride in the winter. Obviously, winter is a big deal here in Nebraska. So, Carl's meeting that need. He's got dirt jumps. He's got just every kind of discipline met in a really cool, organic way, as you can hear the crowd just cheering because someone pulled something off. You know? He just said that he's going to go around. He doesn't have any like planned agenda for the day. It's just an open jam, but he's just going to be kind of going around and see someone pull a cool trick. He's just going to, throw him some swag and some, giveaways. And I love that about it. It just feels really cool and relaxed and chill. And we all need a little of that in our life. You know? And then BMX on top of it is just an awesome feeling for sure. Yeah.
Dave last night was coaching, and this was so cool to me that he's been everywhere in BMX, and he's still hanging out with the riders and coaching and giving tips. And like the whole old school, a lot of the new riders have never seen any of it, so it's all brand new to them. Do you run into that a lot?
A fair amount, yeah. Like some of the stuff that I'll do, mostly just like the 80s tricks that the balance stuff and some original. I heard one guy who's an old school rider that it's like, what's a Gumby again? I'm not sure what a Gumby is. I'm like, well, you have to wait till tomorrow and I'll do the Gumby. And I like the fact that here's a rider that's from the generation who doesn't know what, hasn't seen a Gumby or doesn't know what a Gumby is. And that will just be fun to kind of share that with him. And then as far as meeting with the kids and even the mid-school riders, or maybe a little bit younger than me riders that are ramp riders that want to learn. This guy was working on doing he wants to do a fly out and do a Miami hopper like Wilkerson used to do.
Yeah.
But then he wants to go back into, I think, nose pick and then go back in. So that's a tall order. But so I was just kind of sharing what my experience with Miami hoppers are, and he was totally going for it. And then I'm like, okay, here, why don't do an ant rider? How about doing an ant rider? And you could pop out and do an ant rider, and then maybe a Tennessee twist and come back in. Just like that collective, collaborative effort is always what I've loved doing. Even when I toured and did shows, we'd go to a place and we'd do the show, and that was always a lot of fun. But then afterwards, just jamming with the locals and just coming up with different ideas or looking at what they're doing. Wow, that's kind of cool. And then adapting or taking it on and adding your own flair or style to it. I think that's what I live for. I love that passion.
Dave is so nice. I have yet to meet a person with a bad thing to say about Dave. Dave was the first OFG interview, and
right. Yeah.
thank you so much.
That was 2016.
That was, it was about a year ago, and
year and a half ago, because it would have been Detroit, first AFA in Detroit.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it last year, so. Or maybe, I don't even know now. Was it 16 or 17? It must have been 2017.
Yeah,
it was 2017.
but he set the standard, and I basically was going into the interview blind. I didn't know how to do interviews. I just knew that this was Dave Nourie. He was someone I looked up to and still look up to, and the chance to interview him. And now fast forward, we have all kinds of awesome interviews, and it started with this gentleman right here, and I couldn't be any more thankful.
I'm glad to be a part of that first stage. It's always fun to kind of help launch something. I remember we had some troubles with it too, and I was competing, so you were kind of sensitive to like my being focused on my run and whatnot, and I said, we can do it again. The third time was a charm. And I think we're on number 3 here, so maybe that's our number, but yeah, it's all good. And I just remember saying, well, let me just finish my run and then we can do it afterwards. Yeah, it turned out good. So
rad. So Dave, I want to thank you first of all for just coming here. Like the people all over the place like me, we're fanboys of BMX, we're fanboys of old school, and to see someone like you hanging out, it's just the best. It's mind blowing. Yeah. And I don't want to take your whole day because you're kind of in demand. It's kind of a big event going on here, so I'm just going to ask you, do you have any websites or sponsors or anything you would like to plug?
Well, the thing I'm doing now is, so I've been doing Bike It since about '99, which has just been a jam session that I do down in Oregon, in Ashland, and now I'm just focusing more on doing classes. So I'm doing Bike It pop-ups, which basically means I got a bunch of bikes that are all set up for flatland, and I just post the spot that I'm going to do it, various different parks in Ashland, and I just encourage kids to come out and do a little flatland riding and try it out. So, and I really wanted them to have decent bikes, and again, Reclamation Bikes help to make that happen, which I really appreciate both Robert and Fred for supporting that movement. And I think just getting kids on a bike that they can experience some tricks right out of the gate. And I come from the school of obviously very basic old school tricks, and I want to get them intrigued by that and learn some really basic tricks and eventually they can spin and do time machines and crazy no brakes and all the crazy stuff that's happening. But I want to get that initial basic flatland down. How many times did I just say basic?
It's all good.
A lot of basics.
There is no wrong.
But
as all these Reclamation people walk past with cameos.
Yeah, but having that, the foundations, I think is key, so that they can build on it. So my tagline is life lessons through bike lessons, and I think that's what it's all about. You experience life and you learn things as you go along, and I just want to share some of that back to the younger riders. So as far as websites, DaveNourie.com, I'm actually redoing that, and Team Bike It is my next thing that I'm doing to build that team locally.
Awesome. So we're going to wrap it up. We're going to get back to this Nowear BMX action. Dave Nourie, thank you so much.